Hi there. Tonight we're going to be setting up a print for the Prusa Mini Plus, and we're going to be using PrusaSlicer. And this is kind of another in a short series. The other day in a previous video we did this model to be printed on the Saturn resin printer, and tonight we're going to do the same model at the same scale on the Prusa Mini, and then we'll compare the quality of the two later and probably paint them both if things go well and see how that works out. Hi Mark, how are you doing tonight? Thanks for stopping in. It's gonna be a short one. There's not very much to do, but thank you for being here. That'll work better. All right. So this is PrusaSlicer. And what this does is it takes the 3D model and it slices it, creatively named, huh? And it slices it into pieces. When you print on a 3D printer, whether it's resin or an FDM one, it prints in slices just like a cake or laying down concrete or blacktop on a road, anything like that. It's just in layers. So this takes a solid model and cuts it into slices and generates all the code so that the printer knows what to do, and then it draws it in space. TK, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for stopping in. This is kind of neat, getting back into streaming. I'm seeing people I haven't seen in quite a while. Hope you've been keeping well. So this is just gonna be a short one. And so what this is this represents the print surface that we print on, a little flexible metal steel bed that we print on. And if we want to add the object in, we just go over here and we select add, and we'll pick the same mini PM _1 STL stereolithography file format. And there he is, the little mini marshmallow man that Chelsea at Chaos Cortec put together. As soon as she saw the commercial for the new Ghostbusters movie, she put this together really fast and turned out perfect. And it's available on thangs.com. I know I say it that way. I'm from Canada. I don't have that thangs thing, but I say y'all too, just to wind people up. So last time we scaled them up to 150%. So we'll do the same here. We do that down in this area, object manipulation. So we just change it in one place and they're all locked together. So now he's that size. And the main reason I scaled him at 150% the other night when we did the other video is just because it'll be easier to paint. I'm real new at painting, so he's I just wanted everything that little bit bigger so that it's easier for me to paint. And I figure this is pretty safe because he's basically white, some blue, some red, and some black, and that's about it. So hopefully I can handle it. We'll be painting maybe sometime this weekend, depends. Right now, I didn't get to print the other one until today, so it'll finish up tonight sometime. And then we'll do this one tomorrow, because right now the printer's doing something else, mini. So we'll get it all working. Okay, so there he is. Now, if we just print him the way he is, we're fighting gravity. When you lay things in here, it goes in, and to put it in slices, certain areas wherever there's overhang, like right in here, the back of his foot, this part here, it's too shallow of an angle. If you start printing, laying down plastic in that area, it'll just droop because it's still molten at that point, and gravity will take over and bend it down, and you'll have a mushy looking foot like you just stepped in poop. Same thing, similarly, most parts of this model are really good. The other part is always a problem, is the crotch area. That's always a problem. And this is where it helps to know your printer and what it's capable of and how much overhang it can do. I usually go on the side of caution. I'm not trying to impress anybody with really shallow angles. When I print, I want the print done. I'm not worried about, getting big praise for getting a crotch that isn't supported that still looks great, because it's probably not gonna. So I tend to throw in a little bit of support here and there. And then similarly, most of this should print okay. I have a little bit of concern about this area here, where it's, again, a really low angle, so you might get some armpit. And again, up here on the hat as well, like, that's way too flat for my printer. It just won't. On the resins, you'll get away with it, but on here you won't. So we're going to add a little bit of support to help hold him up so that he doesn't have a mushy day, doesn't look melted and gross. Okay, so we're going to go into the print settings here, and this all looks like mumbo jumbo, which it kind of is. And we're just going to take the defaults. I haven't really tweaked much, as I believe this is pretty much a stock Mini Plus setting. We'll set the infill is, you put, because it's kind of like a balloon that has no air holding it out, when you start to build up things, if you don't have some support inside to hold up, when it curves in, it'll cave in like a cake when you bang on the floor. I'm full of analogies tonight, but so, and I'm pretty sure we can get, if I use gyroid, I can get away with a 5%. Just the way I know it's probably going to work. And I always do 3 laps to let it get purging so that the plastic's flowing good before we go. And I only do 1 layer height. There's no point going back and doing more layers later. It's just a purge for me. And here's where we do supports. So we're going to turn on support, and it's going to give me some things. I just always say yes. And the contact Z or contact Z distance is, when you put the supports in, you want to make sure that you can pull it off easily later. So I use the recommended detachable setting. The other one is, if you're using a dissolvable support, yours going to wash away and you can let it just touch totally. And then interface layers, I usually set that up to 3. And I like to keep 1 millimeter horizontal so that it doesn't stick to the side of the object as well. I find if it gets too close, like 50%, it'll end up sticking to the sides too much. This gives it a bit of room, and it works fine. So let's go back and see what that looks like. So we'll hit slice. And there he is in all his glory. So you see, it's put support material in places where I think I can trust my printer to do his fingers okay. I think those will almost get away with it. Now, we've got support everywhere to hold them up. And it's going to come in at Yeah, those aren't coming for a while. At 53.22. Now, this isn't going to be as drastic a difference as what we found on the resin material usage, but I don't want to use that much time and materials to print all that support that I don't think we need all of it. So we're going to go back into the print settings and we're going to turn off auto-generated supports. So what I'm telling it there is don't think for yourself. Let me decide where it's going to go. And they have a great feature on the more recent versions of PrusaSlicer, which is paint on supports. So now I can go and, as we talked about before, his foot area of the overhang, and where it turns blue like this, where I paint on the blue, it's gonna generate support there to help out. So now, just for illustration, if we slice it now, the only place it puts support is down under his foot. But see how his crotch is all blue and the underside of the hat is all blue and his armpits have a bit of blue? That blue is showing me where it thinks I need to put some more support. So I'm going to do now is I'm going to go put in support just in those areas and tell it just do there. And that way I can control how big they're. Like, it doesn't have to go like the whole length of his arm. It can just do a little patch under the places that are probably going to need it. And you save a bit of material, but more and a little bit of time. But it's just less work to pick all that stuff off at the end, because cleaning up models is probably one of the pains. I used a nice word. I didn't say what I usually say. So that's how that works. So we're just going to go in now and we're going to try and remember where those were. And luckily we can go back if we have to. But we're going to paint his crotch blue. And you don't have to be real neat about this. It's going to make it up anyways. It works it into rectangles. One of the settings. Let's give him a little bit just because he's got a pretty good overhang on his. He's been eating a lot of his relatives. I think that should get us about where we might get away with it. We can always do it again if we really have problems. And we'll just put a bit under here and a bit under here. I can't remember if there was any there. So what we can do is we can just slice it. And it'll show me where else I need some up here, a little bit under his fingers. Probably won't do the top finger. We'll do that one. I'm surprised his mouth doesn't need any. I'm going to put some anyway because I want his mouth to look good. So I want it to make sure it's well covered. Oh, he looks like Mario. There you go, crossing the streams. Did I not learn anything in the first movie? A little bit there. A bit at his elbow. Some more down here. Brian Vines, how are you this fine and glorious evening, sir? Thank you for stopping in. It's late for you. Are you treading? Oh, and I haven't seen, well, I haven't been streaming, so of course I haven't seen you, but I see you on Twitter a lot. I saw you on Twitter today. All right, let's go up and take care of his hat area. So just slather some glue up under here. I want it to come out as good as it can. Oh, see, I knew you were lipping. I knew it was something. I'm not real into the right terminology for that stuff, which is obvious by my physique. I'm still running the fever from getting my first COVID shot yesterday, so did a lot of sleeping today. There you go. He kind of looks like Mario. Let's just throw a bit more in. It's a bit more plastic. Michael Cassell, thank you for stopping in. And MJ's in again, too. Wow, this is awesome. Yeah, there was a list of possible side effects, and I had 6 out of the 7, and then the 7th kicked in later on this afternoon. So I had them all, but oh well. Now in July, when I get my second shot, well, it's supposed to be worse the next time, so I'm really looking forward to that. But hopefully by then they'll have refined the mix a little bit, and maybe it'll be different. We'll see. I'm just not feeling lucky. All right, let's see what he looks like now. Yeah, they make us, up here in Canada, they stretch us out 4 months, which must be the maximum that they can wait for it to be effective still. Well, we got a lot of support there I didn't really intend on, but oh well. And their logic is to get more people their first shot than have people with 2 shots. So, and I kind of understand that. Seeing as I got my first one now about 2 or 3 months sooner than I thought I was going to in the first place. So they changed their system a bit as they get more vaccine, because we don't make any here yet. Get me started. So we're good to go. Anybody see any holes? Oh, I wanted to show the inside for the people that aren't 3D printing people necessarily. See this kind of rusty brown color? Yeah, it's brown on the thing. That's this internal support that we set earlier, and it does this convoluted shape that helps support it better, so you can get away with a lower percentage. The more of that you put in, the heavier the object is. Theoretically, the stronger from crushing it is, which it's going to sit on a shelf. I'm not real worried about that. And I'm not going to hug it or anything. And so it doesn't really matter. You just need something to hold up the inside so that his shoulders and his head don't cave in later. So you can see the shape of the support material. It does a zigzag kind of rectangular pattern, like steel beams a little bit, that provides the support until you get to the top. And then when you get to the, let's go down the crotch area. The support comes up, comes up, comes up, comes up, comes up. And then see where it puts that dark little really tight zigzag stuff in? That's the interface layers that give it as much support as it can. So it's almost like printing flat on the bed. And it'll do that for 3 layers, I think I said. So it does in there. There's the 3rd one. And then it'll start putting those blue layers are the parts that need overhang, and they should go away when we get to the edge. And we've got enough there, so that worked out. So that's the way it goes. Put them all together before we push them out. And then we just hit the export G code, and sure. And it's done just like that. And in that couple of seconds, it did all the calculations to compute all the layers so that all 11,040 layers by the looks of it. No, that's 755 layers. So that's it. So that's how we do it. Now, the difference between this and the resin one that we did the other day is that this one is going to be 0.2 layers thick, and the other one is 0.05, so this is 4 times thicker, right? Yeah, not this hard this late at night. So I will run this tomorrow probably, and then on a later video we'll compare the two and get them painted up. It'll all work out. And we'll save the file, save all these settings so that if something doesn't quite work the way I thought it should, it will, we can go back and load in the same settings and make an adjustment. So if some of my supports don't work, we can, slicing marshmallows. Yeah, that's hard to do, isn't it? I've never tried it. So maybe with a mighty Ginsu knife or samurai sword or something. Just started doing what? Oh, saving the project, yeah. I always do, because it never fails that I was like, oh, I forgot that. Especially, yeah, like you say, when you go off script with the manual settings. Like, oh, I forgot that. So it's nice to be able to go back. And then sometimes I'll change one of the, like if I'm printing multiple parts, I'll make a change in the design to one of the parts on the tray. And then I can just go replace that one and just hit it again. Especially when you get into doing all that painting the blue for supports and that. And there's a subtract feature. I could have taken it and told it not to do some of the others, but I'll be asleep when it's printing probably. Either way, whether it's during the day or at night. This weekend I'll probably be asleep. So, and our next, as I feel all right, tomorrow we'll probably build a printer of some type. Not sure which one yet. There's at least 3 of them sitting around that haven't been put together yet for a long time. A couple of years for one of them, I think. Last year doesn't count. Just nothing happened last year. So yeah, that's that. And then I want to do some painting and airbrushing. And that's a good thing to do on a weekend as well, because I can take as long as I want. We're doing these at night on weeknights, work nights is kind of tough. I don't want to stay up forever at night. Tonight's even late, but I slept most of the day. So anyway, thank you all for coming out, and hope you learned a little bit, or at least enjoyed hanging out. And hopefully you come back next time. Remember to be safe and never let the machines win.